Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you can hear me, you can see me, everything's good. Happy Easter. I'm normally live. I just put out a whole bunch of shorts regarding options, an options fact playlist where every short is just one quick little fact. I did drop a whole bunch of them at once because I was telling people to check out the options facts playlist. I did not want people to check it out and there'd be one video, so dropped a whole bunch, 20 or 30. I am going to continue just putting small little bits and facts of options into that, so check it out. But anyway, this is normally live. I'm taking a break from dinner, for Easter dinner. I'm gonna jump into the futures, break down a few tickers for you guys, just kind of give my overall opinion. Right now, my opinion is I'm rich. Anybody that followed me, we're rich because we're short the dollar. We got a gap down and a meltdown, which is absolutely amazing. I'm short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, and the U.S. CAD, who had a little bit of a hang up there on that daily zone. Finally broke right through it. Classic, I call it hammer on glass, just to make it easy for anyone that's new. You have your diagonal line. This could be going up and to the right or down to the right. And then you have your, as you've seen here, right here with this zone, you have your horizontal one. Now, the easy way to remember that is we're bouncing lower highs. You're about to break that through. Like, what's going on here is you're just taking a hammer and you're hitting a piece of glass. And when you get to this point right here, you're going to find out which is which. Is that glass bulletproof, right? The hammer's just made out of some graphite. It's a movie prop, or is that just regular glass and the hammer's just going to shatter it, break right through? Looks like that's exactly what we got. So if you ever hear me say hammer on glass, or anybody that's been following me for a while say that, that's what they're talking about. So shout out to the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. Keep doing your thing. And to the U.S. CAD, I was never gonna leave you. Anyway, breaking that zone, that's what we needed. This is a little bit finickier. Anyway, shout out to that one. I've not added on. If this base is, I've added on over here multiple times, and I want to add on even more, guys. I'm this close to just. I mean, the way I'm short the dollar is like just leaking like a sieve. I'm just going short more and more, and I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. This base is out. I'm going to add on more to that U.S. CAD short. Bitcoin breaking up. Now, this is good because if you've been watching Bitcoin, it's been in a steady just channel down. So seeing it almost go horizontal, that's amazing news. Needs to get above this zone, but at least the lower highs aren't as low. The lower lows aren't as low. I don't want to say it yet, possibly reversing, but for now, if you're bullish and you want to get excited, all we did was technically slow down, right? The bears could just be getting a drink of water. They'll be right back. If you're new here, you haven't heard me say it a million times. If you've been here for a while, you've heard me say this so many times. It's a zone until not, and I certainly wouldn't be buying something as it comes in from the bottom of a zone. Look at the S&P. We did get a gap down on this one. Overall markets gap down. In the after hours, right now, SPY is at 525 something. So I did enter SPY puts. I also sold a 525 put for Monday. That's tomorrow's expiration. So the puts that we bought, they'll be up. Now, I did do this in the growth count because I just didn't want to not have a put. The way some things are stacking up, I just wanted to have some kind of hedge in there. We already bought puts. They worked out well. We sold against it. So we made money on the long put. We made money selling puts against it. So while hedging, we made money against our hedge. So anyway, that's what I'm doing again. If you ever want to check that out, should be the top pin link comment somewhere in the description. Just find it. My admin does do that. I don't want to fire her, but if you tell me in the comments, I will. I'll do it. Just kidding. She does too much work for me. Anyway, if you check it out, you get to see all the plays, right? So I bought the 520 SPY put. That'll be up in the morning. I sold the 520 strike. I have it up right here. I sold the 520. Never mind. I don't need to roll. We're good. I was thinking I sold the 525s. Anyway, so we're $5 away. I collected $139 on that. So as long as SPY is 520 or higher, I'm still short. My long put is up. The put that I sold that expires tomorrow will just be up. It'll be 100% profit. So either way, SPY, the close term expirations, I did just go over this in some of my options facts playlist. Just that gamma buildup, the risk at the end can be a reward if you just know how to play it right. So I'll likely continue to sell Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe I sell the next day, but I just like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe it's just habit because that's what used to be there before they added in Tuesday and Thursday. Those same day expirations, those are money makers. for the market makers. Not really for people playing same day expirations. I'm sure there's like a LeBron out there that makes money on it, but you know, there's a reason they're there. It's the same reason the casinos have those little side bets. It's not because they want you to win. It's because they're winning. Looking at the NASDAQ, same thing. A little bit of a gap down. I don't have anything sold on this. Now, I will say I was thinking about buying SQQQ, SPXS, some kind of bear ETF because I wanted to have some kind of hedge. I just didn't want to throw out the capital for that, which is why I ended up choosing a SPY put. Spent a little bit less. Also, I'll create money while holding that. Overall, I have these two highlighted for a reason, right? We need to get bullish above and stay above. We kind of had this little fake out situation. We blasted right past it. You know, got a little excited. Here we are again. But I had these bright yellow before actually we blew right above it. I really thought we'd hang out here, and you'll see the same thing on the S&P. As long as we remain in here, that's about where my thoughts are. We could be bullish-ish, you know, bottom could be in. A lot of people think the bottom's in. A lot of people think we're going to zero, you know, so we'll see. Until we actually break this, my thoughts are going to be you're both right. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we probably need to break one of these. So I'll continue to watch that, and that's ultimately where my mindset's going to be at. If I was going to take anything, it would be short the Dow right now. That just looks weak in general. There is, in fact, probably another speed bump zone right inside here. Breaking below that, you guessed it, we're headed right down there. We'll check on the Russell just for fun. Almost doesn't look bad. It really almost doesn't. Easy one. This one's a piece of cake, right? If you're long, you're going to put your stop below this red wick. If you're short, you're going to put your stop below this green wick. Gotta say, I'd put my money on the short side. I think that's where I'd have it at. Let me get into the... Give me 1 second. Let's get these babies out here. There we go. Copy. All right, let's... I will toss these up so everyone that has my charts do have it. If you do join, you guys do get my chart links. You can just copy it, load it. You load it so you have all my lines. You'll have everything. Let's bring that up. Let's... so give me 1 hot second. There we go. There's our expected moves. So looks like we're actually same expected move down almost. Quite a bit smaller this week. I'll do these. The rest I'll do later. Almost a nothing week. Markets are open every day this week, so we're good there. There must not be any news this week. Except for the fact that Mara's up after hours right now in the 24-hour market. Let's check Mara out real quick. I'll give you this one. It's a freebie. Mara's at like 12.80 right now. So, never mind. It's not that much. It's up a few pennies. To some people, that's a lot. What's Tesla doing? Ooh, Tesla has earnings this week. Doesn't everyone have earnings this week? Huge earnings week ahead, actually, as a matter of fact. Because it should be Tesla, Meta. This might be an earnings thumbnail. I should have that in my files. Give me 1 second. Futures gap down, tariff, fierce return. They do. That is the thumbnail. But Meta also has earnings this week, right? Wednesday the 30th. That's next week. So we got time. Never mind. Okay. I thought everybody had earnings this week, and I was going to say, oh, this is the stock market has earnings. Is what I mean to say. There's a line in here somewhere. The cool thing about zones and how things work kind of annoys me sometimes when I just need to draw the expected move, and it's just always on a zone. Anyway, let's get to some breakdowns here real quick. Naturally, it's Easter, so everyone said, let's post everything. When to add on to the US dollar, Japanese yen. Hey, a little Forex question. I'd wait for it to base out. No one's really trading in the Tokyo market right now. Probably tomorrow morning is where I would add on. Because that could just pop up. If you wanted to get ahead of it, I'm on like the daily, weekly time frame, so even adding on right now is not that big of a deal for me. That's not late. But do we do something like this where I could just add on at the green candle? I think we do something like that, but then we might just spill over and come down. Ultimately, if we do bounce like we did last time, then I don't want to just be loading up right here at the absolute peak. when to move the stop on the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. So she's new. We did a play during our last mentorship stream. I would put the stop in the green, put it 30 pips away. 30 pips away. Not a trailing stop. A stop right now, when you're watching this, 30 pips away. It'll be in the green. Any futures trade ideas? Short the Dow. As far as the S&P goes, not worth it. Not worth it till tomorrow. Let the banks get their coffee and kind of see where we're at. If we were down here in the morning, I'd probably go long. I'd go long at that zone. If we were to go up all overnight and into pre-market, I'd probably end up going short. I don't think we're done yet. Grinder. Let's zone that out. Getting a lot more popular these days. Wow. Getting above this will be my bullish signal. And we did. Not bad. Really, I'd be looking at that area right there. So, a couple ways you can... I would look at this. I would treat this as all-time highs. I know someone's going to say, well, it wasn't because it was... What did it do? A split? It was up here. All right, would not care about that. No one was actually buying back then. This is real buying. This is real time, I guess. Take it for however you will. At all-time highs, you can play that. You know, if you're just itching to get in, you grab a little now, knowing full well you're going to add on a pullback. You're not going to double down or average down. You know before you click the buy button, I'm going to buy here in case this just continues, and I'll be happy with that position. I'll look for my way to add on later. Or I buy here, happens to be a top, and we pull back, then I add on. Like if it pulled back into that zone, I would add on. I would have to be bullish this. There's no way I could look at a chart like this and think, yeah, let me just short that for fun. I do like to make money. Hood, I want to be long this. I really do. I like it. I do have it. And it's not a bad one at all by any means to sell calls against or sell puts if you want to, again, get paid to buy it. It's a zone play. Man, if we were still in that zone morning, if we were in that zone and the S&P was in that bottom zone, I would go long. My stop would be 39.85. I'd keep it tight because if that does break, we're probably hopping on down. Overall, though, I mean, let's just stick to the basics, right? Lower highs, lower lows. You know, bull flag or reversal, depending on what side you're on. You know, depends on what echo chamber you're sitting in. Amazon, I like as a buy and hold. If I were to trade it, let's update the expected moves. Where'd that line go? Is it right in there somewhere? I'm gonna make these things a lot brighter. I feel like it's right there. Also right out of zone. Those weird coincidences. I'd have to be long this. Take away all these lines, right? Take away that one. We're gonna keep the zones up there because that's what I've been doing for the last 13 years. Man, if we just look at this, I don't want to sell you a position, but this looks like a spot a lot of people have been interested in Amazon in. Even back here. I would have to catch this knife. Even as a trade right now, my stop would be 160.85. So, what are you, $12 a share? Real simple, guys. If you wanted to risk, what, $50, you could only buy 4 shares. And that would be it. But my stop would be there. The more shares I add, the more I increase my risk. I'm going to tell you guys a little story. And it's kind of embarrassing. Especially because I look at Google every day. And I was making fun of tickers that have 5 letters. Making fun of tickers. I said every ticker should be 4 letters or less. And I hate your company. If it has 5 letters, I think it's weird and probably should be purged from the market. It was just like a joke, right? I'm not being too serious. Someone said, what's a 5-letter ticker? I'm not going to lie, it took me a while. I didn't even find it. My admin did. It took him a while to find it. Kind of embarrassing. Finally came up with Google. Come on. Why do tickers have 5 letters? Unreal. Google would be okay because there's GOOG and then there's GOOGL. L has voting rights. A little bit more liquidity. Delete one. Delete L. Delete it. and move all that liquidity and volume into Goog and make it a tradable ticker. You listen to me, market makers? Who votes? Who's really... Give everybody voting rights. So what? If just do what you do with all the other votes. If it doesn't go your way, you re-educate and you hold another vote. And you continue to do it until it goes your way. You know, that's what real people do. Politicians. Took it out of their book. I gotta be long this. I don't know if the overall market's gonna do well. I don't think us playing chicken with China is a good thing. But it's hard. I just don't know if I could short that right now. Have to be long. AMD, Nvidia started to accumulate shares. Where would you have a stop, if any? Where would you add on? Well, when I'm accumulating, I don't really have this. If I'm going to take the time to accumulate something because I want to build a position, that's my investment account. I don't accumulate a trade. I take a trade or I accumulate shares because I want to own them. So the stop loss is that default one the market's put on your position. Right? That's a margin call. Or let me show you where it's at on every one of them. You go over here to this right line, and it's right there at the bottom. Now, the person who asked this has seen this example a lot. But if you're new, that's my stop loss. It's right there. How much per share am I risking? About $151 every time. Let's check out AMD. AMD, if I had to put a stop, I don't know, I wouldn't want to break in that. 75.45. Adding on 75 and 60. I would just play the zones. And if it pulled down to 69, 70 bucks and turned around, yeah, I didn't catch the bottom because I'm buying here or here. That would be my two spots. Nvidia. It's hard not to buy Nvidia under 100 bucks. Not that we just need to go on a spree and whole account, but Nvidia under 100 I think is cheap for me, and that's where I start grabbing more. As you saw, I sold the 100 strike puts. All I got was free money, free internet money, and I'll probably just keep doing that. And one day I'll get assigned, and I might move my strike down to 90s. If the 90s pay anything, I'll just sell puts. AMD and Nvidia are two stocks that I could sell puts on, you know, here or lower, and I just wouldn't mind. You know, I'll get paid to buy all the shares. I don't care if I get assigned. I don't care if I don't, because I have it, and if I took on more, so be it. Let's check out gold. Yeah, good night. Knife catching again. Long puts. This is a tricky one. If I were to go long puts on Google, I'm probably going 90 days out. I want to catch something like this. I want to catch a down move like this. The awkward part is it spends the next 2 months doing this, and then that red day gets me back down to here, back down to the same price. I just lost a whole bunch of theta. You know, I'd probably have to do that. I'd be nervous I'd just go 2 weeks out, and then I do this, happens again, and then do I just keep buying puts? Death by 1,000 cuts? I think I got to go 90 days out on that one. The long puts at the money. You're doing GLD. What did we copy here? Oh, this was the last run up. We went even more vertical. Oh, man, it's tempting because I am a knife catcher at heart. They say don't catch knives. I will juggle those things on fire like a circus freak. And not just the traditional 3 of them, right? 20 at once. I'm here. You've never seen someone juggle knives like I have. Swords even. Right? Sometimes they don't even have a handle. So it's hard it's hard to tell somebody don't catch knives. So I'd have to just put out that disclaimer because I get why people do. And as long as you know the name of the game, I don't have to teach you or tell you about it. Archer, I do like. I have not added on, but I just might add on this week. They're expanding a lot. This is that vertical takeoff. Electric vertical takeoff. Can you imagine just a Harrier jet just taking off in your driveway? What's that noise? Don't bother you asking that because they can't hear you ask that. I like it. I like where it's going as a trade. My stop would have to be 625. So I give it $1 per share. Breaks that, it's probably headed on down to that $5 mark. UNH, knife catching shares, huh? A little healthcare action. They catch a little bit of that sauce. A little. Looks like the healthcare caught cancer. Like just stage 4, straight out of the gate. You know, just I'm not being sensitive to people that found out at stage 4. You guys got to get checkups. I know too many people that did that. Never go to the doctor, never got checkups. So by the time they do feel pain, it's just stage 4. Like that's awesome news. I could have just stayed home for that. Anyway, enough about that. Knife catching shares, huh? Wow, is this a bad earnings, huh? Surprise, minus $2 billion. You know, that's not a surprise I ever want to get. Did we just get a little too big for our britches? This is a tough one not to want to knife catch, and this is a big name. I know someone's going to ask me, what about leaps? No. What about calls? If you feel like losing everything, sure. I don't know if I'd want to give myself expiration. You know, if I were to get calls, maybe 6 months out. But I wouldn't mind the leaps. Now, it pays a $2 dividend. Not the most. But, you know. A couple bucks every quarter. I like it. I really do. I did not realize that knife was like that. This one's going on my watch list. By watch list, I mean when that alert goes off that I can't set right now. Anyway, what I'm going to do as soon as this is done, I'm going to figure out why I can't set alerts. I'm going to put an alert right above the price. When that goes off, it's going to vibrate my watch, and then I'm going to click buy. That's what's going to happen. US dollar JPY, US CAD short. Send them to the dirt. I agree. We already went over them, so let me know if you have any more questions. I'm just worried about adding on. I just want, give me some kind of hint. Base out for 5 minutes. You know, let me just add on. I like bases because they throw up wicks. You kind of know where to put your new stop at. Full send. You know, I'm not going to do, and I say this with shares all the time, I'm not going to ride 500 shares up and 1,000 shares down, which is why I'm very particular about how I add on to things. Because when I do add on, all the stops go up. Right. Ford 950 covered calls for Friday. Where are we at? Okay. So we're here. I'd probably keep selling those until they're, because what are we gonna do? Hit this zone, pull back. You're gonna roll it. You're gonna catch the real value anyway. Still get the time value out of it. So just a matter of intrinsic and extrinsic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just one more reason why you should check my shorts out. I have a whole playlist, one specifically going over that. I like it. The 10s would be worth jack anyway. They might this week. $6. I agree. Looking to sell a Tesla put after earnings. Hopefully it goes down a little bit. Now, if Tesla does have a red earnings and comes down here or lower, I will. Let's say it just goes to this zone because it's not a real big mover. I'll probably sell at 200 again. Until it fills. Got to sign NVIDIA at 107 a share. Also rolled my sold Tesla put to 252. Nice. Got to sign. If depending on my play on this, if I got assigned at 107 last week, I'm probably going to sell the 108s for this week. We're right there at the expected move. Worst case scenario, right? It absolutely just sends it, right? It hitches up to Starlink, not Starlink, SpaceX, new rocket, right? Sends it. You bought it at 107. You got paid to buy it at 107. You got paid to sell it at 108. So you make money on the shares. You make money on both sides of the premium. Not bad. That's worst case scenario. On the upside, right? So personally, that's what I would do. Sell the 108s because they'll still be worth something. As it sells down, I would just kind of probably hug the expected move line. Play the numbers game there. At least until we turn around. Little Aussie. I would be long this because I'm short the dollar. Remember, the U.S. the first pair is the dominant pair, so the U.S. dollar not being it. As the dollar goes down, this pair will go up. Ooh, breaking that blue. We're hopping straight to there. Picture perfect play breaks that. Maybe you tighten it up, lock it in, get back in, go here. You're still short this. Never mind then. The way that ripped up, though. Your stop is 643. I remember this. Okay, yeah, we're right above here. I guess you're just going to have to let it play out. Any chance you're not correct in the dollar continuation for all those looking to join the dollar short now in a big move? I still think this position has opportunity, but I want an objective opinion. Target is a longer term hold with trailing. Is there any chance I'm wrong? What have you, this your first day? No, there's no chance I'm wrong. Just kidding, there always is. And yeah, so here's your bullish side to the dollar. We're literally in a weekly zone right now. So we could spend all week right here, because remember, we got to go to the weekly time frame for that. Maybe we bounce right now. Maybe we spend all week here, doji style, and then reverse and turn around. So where your stop is going to play out nicely with this. Now, if this breaks, your stop's going to hit. Without that, you're going to hang tight. And for how many times I've seen a trade that I thought was going to tag out, I don't even get surprised anymore. I do let things play out for that very reason, because you're looking at it thinking, I'm short the dollar, which is long your play, but you're short. You're thinking, all right, so he's short, I'm over here long. It looks like I'm about to tag out. I should probably close it anyway. I used to do that in the beginning, and I can't tell you, it only took a few times where I closed that trade. Assuming I'm going to stop out, I might as well just save the couple bucks. You know, who cares if I was going to risk 2,000, but I only, I take it off the table at 1,500. You know, like, nope, no, because it was a few times where I was like, my trade was just fine. It was perfectly fine. I was dead right. I nailed it to the board, and then I closed the position. You're going to hate yourself for that. So, yeah, you're just going to be watching this weekly zone on the dollar right here. If that breaks, no, we're getting a continuation. Yeah, I'm always down for an objective opinion. Which is why I do try to hear everyone's thoughts, right? No matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what side of the trade you're on. I like to hear it all. Maybe you saw something I didn't. So I'm always down for a little devil's advocate action. Silver long. If I was going silver long, my stop would be below this green wick, right below that zone. US CAD, literally kill it. I'm short. Times 3. Just go to 0, thanks. Split my stops up or put them all in one spot. I've never. You're 3 times. I'm usually in 2 spots. And sometimes it's I stop out 1/3 and then the other 2/3 are like, where do I want the bulk of it? Because sometimes I'm like, let me just put the bulk of it up top and I'll leave a little bit cherry on top depending on how I'm feeling. The ones at break even's getting bumped. And 2 adds a little below. There's no way I'm gonna stop out at break even on a US CAD short play right now. Bump all of them. I would have one a little bit tighter, keep the other 2 back a little bit. Coin to 240. Saying it until it's there. I'm rooting for you. Hey, it might be up after hours with the way Bitcoin's moving and Mara's up a little bit. Let's see what Bitcoin is now above $87,000. Robinhood just wanted to let you know. SPY 524.28. Good thing I sold the 520s. Coinbase, where we at? We're at 177. So we're up $2.50. We're close to 240. I'm rooting for you. It's gonna get there. So yeah, a couple bucks. Good news is, let's just look at this like an AMC person. Let's forget every step in between. We'll call it 100,000, not 1,000, not 100. You know, we'll just skip all of it. Send it. You know, 240. We'll just gap. 240 is a cool car. Nissan's probably involved in this somehow. Yeah, you're good. This is going to be the Sylvia of trades. If you guys don't know what a Sylvia 240 is, I need you to go to Google Images, and that's it. And if your birthday starts with a 2, you just need to understand our cars are cooler than yours. This might be the... It is holding above that. That looks cool. It's just that the... If you guys watched my previous video, I'm just very curious if the market's playing... If we're playing chicken with China, that just might not pan out. Because as corporate greed does, and I don't want to call it corporate greed, it's just kind of smart business practice. We sent everything overseas. We do literally nothing. Everybody else does our work. So when we tell everybody else, you know, do your own thing or something, like, all right, fine, we're going to face this direction. That's it. You know, it's a lot easier on them than it will be us. And I think that's a pretty serious red flag that we're facing. I'm not 100% in that camp. I'm just saying that's an option right now, and that does make me nervous, which is why I'm in puts. A lot of things look like I do want to buy them, and I buy when the market's down 20%. I don't really care about the excuses, as long as I don't need sunglasses at 11 p.m. and a lead vest. But again, right now, that's what's holding me back from just saying turn the news off and let's start buying. Do you have cash? Get it. Hit up grandma. See what she's doing with her money. She's probably not using it. She's had a good run. Let's borrow some of her money. That's what stops me. Should that time come, I'll make a full video about it. Right now, I just don't know if it's time to go hard. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, right? Daily content. Have a good one.